Welcome to Make It Yourself Living. For this video, we're going to go through red beans and rice. Now, is it truly red beans and rice, Louisiana style? No. This is something my husband did when I first met him. So you saw a cup of rice, and I usually put andouille sausage and some kielbasa in it. Is that Louisiana style? There's some kidney beans. And as you can see, I had two different types, so it didn't matter. And fire roasted salsa style tomatoes. I love these tomatoes. I am a tomato junkie. I can eat as many tomatoes until my skin turns yellow from the beta carotene. Okay, the first thing you're going to see me doing here is cutting up all of this sausage, because the first thing I like to do once it's cut up is to toss it in the pot and brown it up. It always tastes a lot better when you brown it. So, of course, people-proof packaging. And you can cut it however you wish. I like to go ahead and split it in half first. It makes it like you have almost a little extra sausage. Now, one thing you'll see is as I go to brown it up, I don't put any oil in the pan because normally the sausage exudes a lot of fat, but in this case it really didn't. So I had to put a little oil in the pan. So you might want to put a little bit of oil. Don't get too nuts because it'll get a little too greasy tasting and it won't be very appetizing for you. And of course, I'll speed through this so you don't have to sit and watch me slowly cut stuff. Now, you don't have to split it up and use kielbasa and andouille. You can do two andouille if you wish. Might make it a little spicy. Or if you don't like the fire roasted salsa style tomatoes, you can always use rotel. That will make it spicy though. And you don't have to use red kidney beans. You can use, I think it's called cannelli. Those are white kidney beans. So you have some alternatives. You don't have to follow exactly what I do here. You're going to see me finish doing the cutting and then we'll move on to the actual cooking end. As I mentioned before, I didn't put grease or oil down in the pan first off because normally the sausage does let out enough, but when I was cooking it this time, I had it a little too high and everything started to stick on me. So then I threw in some oil. Normally I don't though, but I would put in a little bit to see how everything starts adjusting. What you're going to see here is my putting in all the sausage and heating it up and starting to brown it. I like to do that prior to adding in the tomatoes, the rice, and all that. You can see everything's beginning to heat up. Now, you're going to want to keep an eye on these. These sausages will burn pretty quick if you're not careful. So keep an eye on them when they're getting to the browning that you like. Then we'll move on to the next step. This recipe can very easily be cut in half. If you think about it, I'm using two different sausages here, just use one. Instead of using 2 cans of stewed tomato, just use one. Instead of 2 cans of kidney beans, use one. And as far as the rice, cut it in half. You'll see me put a cup in, you put a half a cup in. So it's really easy to gauge up or gauge down. Now you're starting to see it stick, what I was mentioning before. I'll toss a little oil in there, probably in a minute or two. And there it goes. Don't worry about that browning at the bottom. When we toss in the stewed tomatoes and the kidney beans, that's going to deglaze the pan. Think about it. When you clean your pan, you normally put it in hot water and then heat it up on the stove. That's what you're doing. You've got liquid, it's being heated up on the stove, and it's lifting up all that browning, and it's going to make it taste a whole heck of a lot better. And you can see how it's starting to brown. Be careful not to let it go too much. I can't help it, I like to pick. Now, when you see me tossing the kidney beans, I do not drain them. I don't mind the juice from the kidney beans. I believe it gives it a good flavor. I also, well, of course, I don't drain the tomatoes, but just so you know, I just dump them in. Now, if you try to make this and you come up with an idea that you think is fabulous, please share. I'm all for making improvements to anything that I do. Besides, when you're on looking at these recipes, you need to make these recipes your own. Try it out the way the original person set it up, and then you find something different to do, let them know. Now, I won't be able to show you it deglazing, but what you'll notice is when I mix it, after the tomatoes have been in there a little bit, everything starts getting easier to mix. Well, there's my rice. Now here I just used the type of rice I had on the shelf, which was jasmine. I had a big old 5-pound bag of it. You can use almost any kind. If you use arborio, you're probably going to want to rinse it because that lets off a lot of starch. It can get kind of mushy. But you're going to notice the rice is sticking really well. So currently I'm getting all the liquid ready. Here go the kidney beans, undrained. You can see that liquid's already starting to work on the bottom of the pan. Now, will I mess up when I do these videos? Of course. You will mess up in your kitchen. You're in your kitchen. Don't tell anybody. There's the second can. If you mess up and something's a little darker, tell them it's Cajun style. They don't need to know. There goes some stewed tomatoes. And yes, I do live in the Southwest. We do use stewed tomatoes a lot. You can notice how I'm getting a little easier to do that. You may not be able to see it, but it is beginning to lift. And there's the last can. So essentially, you have now put in everything that you need. Between the different sausages giving taste to this, and you have your kidney beans with the sauce from the kidney beans and the stewed tomatoes. It gives it quite a nice flavor. Of course, you can add to that if you want to throw garlic in there, throw garlic in there. There's nothing wrong with that. But I don't know if you're noticing that I'm starting to be able to pull it through a lot easier. It's lifting up. And you'll continue to cook this until the rice is where you want it. Now, everybody says al dente. I kind of like it personally a little bit past that. I don't want my rice to be too crunchy. So that's what's going to happen now. We're just going to have to wait until the rice is finished. What's nice about this, if I were to say how much the whole thing costs, now you can get a link of those sausages for about $3.50, so that was $7. You can get a couple of cans of kidney beans for a couple of dollars, so that goes up to $9. Now rice, normally you get a big old bag and you're only using a cup or so of it. If I were to guess, 50 cents maybe? So we have 7, 8, 9, we can call it 10 totally, or total, plus the 2 cans of stewed tomatoes. Might bring it up to $13 or $14. But it's going to be a pretty hearty meal. Stick to your ribs. You know, it's not like eating at your Chinese restaurant really good, but an hour later you're hungry. You should still be good. And you can notice how the rice is starting to get cooked here. Everything's beginning to thicken up. Could you do different things to this? Of course. Do you like roasted red peppers? Throw them in there. What do you like? Add to it. Make a change. Let us know. You know what I thought it'd be good? Sticking some pickled jalapenos in there. I don't like really, really, really hot food, but I do like a little spice every once in a while. Now, just so you know, you're not going to want to leave it cooking too fast, or else you'll wind up burning off all your liquid and your rice won't get quite finished. So if you see everything boiling too quick, you're going to want to bring it down a bit. I think I have this set at medium. I work off an electric stove, so medium for me is about number 7. Now, since this video is essentially done other than seeing the end result, I want to thank you for joining me today. And if you like what you're seeing, please give us a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel. See what else we come up with. Or if you have ideas on what you might like to see, let us know. I can't say that I'm a chef, but I could try to make pretty much anything. Now, this video won't be 32 minutes, but it actually took me 32 minutes to make this from start to finish. And that was including all the cutting of the sausages and everything. So, personally, being the mom of two, I think this meal could help you out quite a bit. You can kind of cut up the sausage, toss it in, brown it up, and dump everything else in. And then go ahead and take care of your kids. Because half the time, if you were like mine, I heard a lot of, Mom, where's this? Mom, where's that? And it is getting pretty done. Okay, I'm not going to put you through having to watch too much more of this. Suffice it to say, if you're from Louisiana and you absolutely hate what I've just done here, please don't write me a hate letter. This is what we do. We make red beans and rice, and yes, we do throw big old things of sausage in it. It's tasty for us. If you want to change it, by all means, change it. I'm just trying to share. That's all. So I want to wish you all well, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye bye.